pretty sound advice. Thanks, D.A. Now let's take a look at Denver's opening lineup. Jaylen Brown out there with Jamal Murray. Then there's Tobias Harris. Then there's Jonas Valanciunas. And it's Kleba in at the 4. And for Atlanta, Al-Farouq Aminu is out there with Clint Capella. Then it's Trae Young. Then it's Terrence Ross. And it's Wiggins in at the 3 slot. Now here's Valanciunas. And Capella sends it down.
This is the real strength of Capella's game now. Outstanding at using his length and athleticism to block shots. Well, you know, this is what happens. You can't afford to lose concentration, even for a nanosecond.
Harris's shot is off.
I guess even he has it's one of those once in a while.
Well, the last few years, we've seen a huge improvement from Tobias Harris's shooting the deep ball.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kevin. He went from not really having a reliable outside shot to being a 40% shooter from outside the arc. It's opened up a lot for the rest of his game, and it's a big reason why he scored over 20 points a game last year.
And I have just been so impressed with the way Jamal Murray has added to his game. Keeps pushing himself every offseason to make the most of his abilities as a player and continues to be a consistent threat from the outside.
And with Murray, Greg, you forget how young he is. He entered the NBA right out of his freshman year at Kentucky.
I mean, Murray was taken 7th in his draft and has kind of flown under the radar from that class. But the more you watch him, the more you feel like you're seeing a star in the making.
He's somebody that's really comfortable carrying the offensive load.
On offense, here are the Nuggets. And the pass to Kleba. It's tipped. Murray against Young. Just 5 on the clock. Shot on the wing. Rebounded by the Hawks.
You're not going to see that very often. Plenty of space, but he just, let's face it, he whiffs on that one.
Pass to Capella. Fires for 3. Young's shot is off.
Well, he has not been sharp this period. Seems to be a little flustered out there, too.
Murray kicks to Brown. Lets it go from 11, and the jumper is on the mark.
I like the confidence and the assurance that Brown is taking these shots with. I mean, his mid-range game is actually on point.
If you're just tuning in, we've played about 2.5 minutes here in the first. Young pass to Wiggins. No luck that time on the shot that would have put them on top.
You know, right now they're just 1 for 5. Rough start so far.
Murray outside. And he lays it straight in. On opening night, Clark, both teams would love to start off, obviously, on a winning note.
Without question, I mean, setting that winning tone, gaining that confidence that comes from winning, and they all count. Wins today are just as important as wins that you get in March and April.
I'm a fan of anybody who defends that way. I mean, they weren't about to open the door and just allow him to cruise in for a layup.
Now, here's Brown. Pass to Kleba. Back to Brown. Over Ross. Misses off the left iron. The Hawks trail by 4. Some tough offensive sets. They want to turn it around.
Yeah, right now you just need a bucket to get some momentum.
I'll tell you what, how easy does Wiggins make the game look? I mean, in the flow, excellent stroke from distance. That's fun to watch.
Timeout is called. First of the game for the Nuggets.
And, you know, you look at the way Clint Capella's offensive role has expanded the last few years. He's great in the pick and roll as an option at the top of the key, and he's actually seeing more and more touches as a finisher at the rim. The next step in his development, being a back-to-the-basket scorer.
Here's what Atlanta's going with right now. Hayes, he's checked in for Capella. This year comes in for Al-Farouq Aminu. And it's Anderson in for Terrence Ross. Big group substitution here for Denver. Mason Plumlee's checked in for Jonas Valanciunas. Millsap comes in for Maxi Kleber. Hardaway's checked in for Jaylen Brown. And it's Jalen Brunson in for Jamal Murray. So it's the Hawks now. This year, kicks to Young. 1:03 left to play in the first. Hayes trying to break through.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's going to buy himself a ticket to the bench. If he keeps shooting it like that, he has been putrid here this quarter.
Hardaway lays it in without an inch of room around him.
Boy, Hardaway Jr. is a competitor now, showing you some real toughness. He's not going to give you an inch. He's going to fight you to the finish.
Here's Young. That one's good. Maybe that'll get him going after a 2 for 6 start.
Huge hole in the defense that possession. He didn't waste any time cutting through it.
35 seconds left here in the first quarter. Here's Brunson. That one, no good. Good defensive work there by Young. On the wing, Wiggins. There's 18 seconds left in the first quarter of the game. Labissiere dishes to Young. He scores the basket. That's field goal number 3 for him.
And having to respect Young's deep range defensively, it's hard to close off the lane.
Pass to Harris. 1 second left, and it's in there. At the end of one, a closely contested game so far. Nuggets lead by 1. 2K Sports back in a moment here in Atlanta. A unique upbringing for Clint Capella. Spent years in a welfare orphanage in Switzerland. He said he never imagined he'd come this far.
As a kid, I wasn't even dreaming about that far. I always said it's even past my dreams. I mean, now I'm just living the moment, trying to work hard as I can, and just enjoy the present. Enjoy the present.
Just an inspiring story, Greg. It gives you perspective on why you should be grateful for everything you have.
Kevin, without a doubt, Capella's upbringing helped shape him, and the hard work he continues to put in is really admirable.
And close game underway so far. We'll see if either of these teams can jump out in the second quarter. And the Nuggets, guys, what jumps out to you numbers-wise?
Showing a lot of confidence in their rotation. They went right to that bench when they needed points.
And you know, when the bench is playing such a big role early, that certainly allows the starters to stay fresh throughout the game.
And now, brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset our lineups. On the court for Atlanta, we've got Hayes. Anderson is out there with Skal Labissiere. Then it's Young, and it's Wiggins in at the 2 spot. He misses the free throw.
Has just fallen short of expectations. He was the #1 pick back in his draft. Him to be.
He hits the second from the line. And with Wiggins, he's clearly a talented player, Clark, but people just want more from him.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kevin, and a lot of it is a matter of consistency. And when the expectations are high, being a former overall #1 pick, that pressure can affect you. But I think if Wiggins can just lock into being consistent, all of that will subside.
Anderson outside. The pass to Labissiere. Young from outside. It's hauled in by Harris. And it's Harris with the ball for the Denver Nuggets. They're off to San Antonio after this game, bringing their show to the AT&T Center. That is game 3 of this 4-game trip. Millsap misses. The Hawks trailing. Here's Wiggins. That's in, coming off just 38% from the field. Brunson the pass to Millsap. Anderson against Harris. Hardaway with a wide open look. And he's good on the 3 ball. Hardaway has got 5.
Yeah, that's good vision from Harris. I mean, he draws so much attention himself, so he's become a capable passer.
Passes it to Young. That one's in. Only his fourth make against 9 total shots.
And there's a pattern starting to take shape here. They're working it inside and getting good shots from close range.
Well, I agree with you. 4 of their last 5 baskets have been exactly of that variety.
Time called here. The Nuggets decide to talk it over. Mark, there are a lot of great playmakers in this NBA that sometimes we don't talk about.
Draymond Green, not a guard, but makes decisions and passes the ball like a high-level guard and is extremely valuable in that Warriors attack. Those 2 guys are a little bit undervalued for their ability to make their teammates better.
Good point.